join the manager of the Jackson Transportation Service Center, Kelby Wallace. Kelby, good to see you again.
Good to see you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I mentioned that today is the start of the construction season. Well, that's for the city of Jackson. The MLK project resumes today, so beware if you're headed on MLK that phase 2 begins today and will continue throughout the spring and the summer. But your projects, we've got a little bit of time before they start.
Yes, so they're probably about another 2 to 3 weeks before our kind of 3 major projects in the Jackson area start. You know, it's beautiful out today and yesterday, but you know, Saturday was rain and Friday was rain, and last week had 2 or 3 days of rain. So our contractors have been kind of waiting to see when the dry weather was going to come and when it's going to warm up for a long time. And we've got snow at the end of the week and cold temps next week. I think one day I see the highs 28 next week. So they're kind of waiting to get an extended warm stretch. So we're about 2 to 4 weeks from all our major projects getting underway.
Well, in some ways, weather, MDOT does not wait for the weather. I went to Kalamazoo on Saturday, and you guys took out a bridge near Firekeepers, and that was pretty amazing because you scheduled the closure of I-94 both ways, but I don't think you needed 2 full days. I think you got it done ahead of schedule. Yeah,
so demolition usually goes much smoother than rebuilding, right? Our contractors have gotten very good with that. We've, you know, over the years learned some techniques that, you know, you can go out there and cut some beams and lift them off and demo them, especially if you can shut down the roadway. You can do a lot of that work really quick instead of dragging it out over a couple weeks or something like that. So very efficient if you've got a good place to put traffic. You know, some areas there's just nowhere to reroute I-94 traffic. Even at night, you still got a lot of commercial vehicles, so you can pick and choose where you do that.
Yeah, it was, we had a nice half-hour detour through the back roads of Marshall and Battle Creek.
Okay, all right.
It was all right. I mean, it was, you know,
not bad.
The traffic was not bad, and I understand why you guys do something like that on a weekend. The traffic really is quite a bit reduced on the weekend, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know, after that Friday night peak, you got kind of a peak Friday evening. Usually around here, like on I-94 when we did work, it was probably about 9 or 10 o'clock Friday night. And then those volumes are really low even through Saturday morning till about 11 or noon. And then they, you know, people start going to get their groceries, running to wherever to buy their stuff on the weekend, out to dinner, do some things, out to lunch. So, and then Sunday night, same thing, kind of Saturday night into Sunday. It slows down at 9 to 10 o'clock Saturday night, and then doesn't pick up till about 1 or 2, a little bit later on Sunday, about 1 or 2 o'clock before it gets busy. So there's a couple windows where we used to shut down the freeway when we were rebuilding 94 in Jackson on the weekends.
I think in the State of the State address, the governor said something about orange barrels. She apologized, and then she said, "You're welcome." Because it is. It's you need the construction to fix the roads, but it's a double-edged sword.
Right. We get at least 50% complaints about not fixing the roads, and then 50% of the complaints are about the drums and barrels when we are fixing the roads.
Yep, it's a lose-lose situation.
Right.
All right, we've got some projects in Jackson County that will be starting in a couple of weeks. What are you guys going to be doing this year?
Yeah, so kind of some of the major projects. Want to kind of give folks a reminder today. US 127 from like Parnell Road up to Leslie. We're doing a resurfacing and some bridge work up there. We're going to be starting in early April, and that's going to have daily single lane closures. We'll be down to 1 lane. And that's a pretty long stretch. It's almost 10 miles. We won't be working on the whole length all at once, but in that area we've got concrete patches, we've got asphalt patches, we've got resurfacing, we've got some chip seals, we got some crack seals. We've got a lot of stuff going on, so off and on, basically all summer to the fall, there'll be a single lane closure. Generally, that's not too bad. Traffic doesn't back up, you know, and we're going to try to pull that off on Fridays and Sundays when we can.
And then further to the north, while we're talking about 127, there's been so much major work surrounding 127 in the Lansing area. You've had complete build of bridges, you've redone exits, but still more to come.
Yeah, so they've kind of broken up that project in the 3 phases, and this is phase 2. They've just got phase 1 done kind of last year. Open up the 3 lanes right there kind of in South Lansing when you get to town, very nice. But this next project is a little bit north of there, about 2 miles north, starting around the Lake Lansing interchange area and going all the way up to I-69. That project is going to be going on all summer too, and it's going to be down to 1 lane for most of the summer. So that's going to impact folks who like to get away on the weekends and head up north and come home. So I just kind of, good that you bring that up. You can remind some folks that they need to plan for a little extra time here when that one starts. And I think that was going to be in early April also.
What's involved with that? Is it just resurfacing?
This one is actually a major resurfacing. They're actually going to take the concrete's so bad, they're going to actually what we call rubbleize it. Rubbleize it. There's a machine that actually, think of a roller, but it has metal knots on it, and they roll it, and it actually smashes the concrete and basically kind of returns the concrete back to a gravel. And so then we actually pave on top of that. We'll put 5 to 8 inches on top of that rubbleized concrete.
So that saves having to dig it up and drag it somewhere.
Correct. It doesn't last quite as long as like completely rebuilding it, but the construction goes a little bit faster, and it doesn't cost quite as much because like on I-94 through town here, we cut the concrete and took it out, right? And took it all out and rebuilt the sand and the aggregate and the drainage underneath that pavement. Up there in Lansing, their pavement isn't quite as bad. Even though the surface concrete's bad, the underlying layers are in better shape, so they're leaving that stuff. So it'll go a little bit quicker. I think this one's supposed to be a 1-year project.
I saw something they do in Europe. Have you ever heard of a road printer, where they lay out the cobblestone roads? It kind of like comes out of a truck, and it gets unrolled like sod, and then the cobblestones get laid.
I have not.
We don't do cobblestones here, so. All right, now over to western Jackson County. You've got Springport.
Yeah, we've got kind of what we call a rebuilding in Springport. It includes some new water lines, some storm sewer lines, some sanitary sewer lines. So kind of rebuilding all the guts of a roadway that you don't see, but helps everybody's life function with all the amenities we enjoy, like indoor plumbing. You've got to replace that stuff eventually. So that project is going to be a major project for the Springport area and M-99 traffic there. There'll be some small detours in town, but for the most part, you'll be able to get in and out of Springport through that project. But there will be some minor detours and some delays, and that project's going to take almost all summer too. That one will get started a little bit sooner. I got to take out some trees and start removing some stuff, and then they'll get right into putting in some of the utility lines that they have to take care of before we rebuild the road.
How many miles is involved with that project?
That's I think just under a mile. But again, the work's a lot more complex, and that way, it takes the 6 months to do a mile.
Right in the downtown.
Right in downtown, outside of right downtown. We've got concrete that we did in 2005, and we're going to do patches there. But this would be on the segments just to the east of that, and then the south of that down to the cemetery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then back to the city of Jackson, you did one bridge over the Grand River last year, and now you have another one.
Correct. We got a little more cleanup work to do over at Cooper Street in the Grand River that we rebuilt last year. Traffic's open and it will remain open, but we've got to do some guardrails, some sidewalk and whatnot, so that one will stay open. But the road that will close is Lewis Glick, near the Grand River Brewery, over the Grand River. We're going to put a new deck on that bridge. We're not going to do the foundations, so this one will go a little quicker, but we are going to have to do a detour, and we're going to detour eastbound traffic. We'll have to use Washington to get around, and westbound will be allowed to continue on Lewis Glick. So that one again is kind of looking at an early April start.
Already, I think you've got one lane closed, and
Yeah.
I think it's just because it's beyond the point of patching or repairing, and you just might as well wait until you do it.
Correct. Yep, so we started getting a pothole forming in that bridge deck, and the pothole, when we went and investigated, it ended up being not just a pothole, but a hole. And you can see the Grand River through there, a small little hole. And so instead of patching that and tearing it out in 2 months, we ended up just shifting traffic. So we'll be taking care of that entire bridge deck when we start.
Seems like every couple of weeks there's some sinkhole video from some other parts of the world. When you see something like that, does that make you nervous that, oh my gosh, do you have confidence that can't happen here?
Yeah, so usually almost all the time when that happens, it ends up being some kind of water main or something that leaks and sprays underneath the roadway and creates a cavity right in there. So we have had smaller sinkholes, let's just say a foot, that we've discovered out during some of our maintenance operations, and we have to repair those. But it takes some good staff. I got a lot of good staff. They're out and about looking at things and keeping an eye on stuff, trying to see when something doesn't look right. Maybe a little dip or some grass that has a little depression where it shouldn't, and you kind of go out and do some investigation. But with our aging infrastructure in our country and all the new utilities that get installed all the time, there's a fiber optic line going in all the time. Sometimes they hit each other. They run into a line and causes a leak that nobody sees until something starts sinking or instantly drops. So it's something we try to prevent, but it's a growing problem that I think you're going to see happen.
If you see something, say something.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Great to see you. Thanks for coming in.
You too. Good to see you, Bart.
Jackson TSC Manager for MDOT, Kelby Wallace.